Hi everybody, Laura here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to be a part of the Texture Adventure blog hop with Altenew. They are releasing some fantastic new standalone dies, and I have a couple of colorful projects to share with you using some of these new dies. I'm going to be featuring these three new sets: the Stacked Diamonds cover die, the Leaf Mix die set, and the Simple Nesting Flowers layering die set. I'm also going to be using some of these gradient cardstock sets, which come in a variety of colors. You've got the red cosmos, the seashore, green meadows, cherry blossom. I'll show more about those later. I also want to talk about this new grid mat that I've been using for a couple of weeks, and I love it. It's double-sided. So on the other side, it's kind of gray with black lines. It's one of those self-healing cutting mats. Highly recommend. On the black side, it's got the standard A2 size card right in the center for portrait and landscape. But let's move on to card number one. I'm going to start with the Cherry Blossom gradient cardstock set. So you get 4 shades. Some of them, like the green one, only gives you 3 shades, but most of them give you 4 shades. And this is right up my alley. I mean, if you like to die cut and you like to use a lot of different shades in the same color family, I'll forget about it. Okay, so for this one, I use the darkest shade of pink and the second lightest shade of pink. So for each leaf, I'm just going to work my way through all these colors, and I use the darkest shade for the solid leaf, and then I do a detailed with a lighter shade. And of course, you know me, going in rainbow order. You don't have to, but I mean, look at the color. It just makes me giddy. Okay, look at the detail on these intricate leaf designs. They're so fun. I couldn't pick one, so I had to do almost all of them. I didn't use every single one, but I almost did. I just love all the different designs, and when you put them together with all the colors, it's just like bada boom. Okay, now what I'm going to do, once I die cut all these, is start adhering the detailed leaf to the solid leaf. Now you could do it straight on, or you could kind of cock it to the side. I always like to cock things to the side. I don't know why, but it just kind of shows that bit of solid a little bit more. Gives it a little more attention. This one here is so intricate and detailed. I'm using some Gina Connect glue, and I'm literally just putting a little bit on the bottom. I'm not even gluing it up at the top because I want that to be free, kind of curl up and just be, you know, like freewheeling. Okay, so a little bit of glue on the bottom, a little dab will do ya. And what everyone always asks about my glue holder, it's from Make It by Marco. She has an Etsy shop, and it's rainbow, and it's fabulous, very practical, and it fits the glue tubes. I have a Gina K, which fits perfectly. It also works great with the Lawn Fawn glue tube, and I love it. Okay, so I've got all these leaves glued together. Now I'm going to assemble. And by the way, this card is a little bit larger. It's like 4.5 by 6 because I knew that all these leaves were going to be really big, so this is a bigger card. You know what they say, go big or go home. Today we're going big, and that's okay because you know what? I can make my own big envelope if I need, because these leaves are even hanging off the edge of an already big card. So I got my envelope punch board, and that is why I buy 12 by 12 pattern paper. For this reason, to make big envelopes for big pretty cards and dimensional cards. And you know what? That way I don't limit myself to just a A2 standard size card. Sometimes you gotta go big or you gotta go home and you make your own envelope. That's what I do. Now, I made this flower. I just used 1 foam square on each leaf. It's not really heavily adhered, but that's what I wanted because I want this lift. You know, right now what I'm doing is what I call the zhuzh. I'm zhuzhing each one of these leaves, just kind of lifting them up and just like, you know, making it look good. For the sentiment, I'm using Many Thanks. It's not a new stamp set, but it's definitely a staple for thank you cards. And I stamped this black solid thank you sentiment, which I'm going to die cut with a circle die. And once I get that die cut, I'm going to pop it out and put a foam square on it and pop it right in the center of my big, beautiful die cut flower. And this card is finished. What do you think? A lot of color, a lot of detail, a lot of dimension, and she's a big old beauty. Card number 2, Simple Nesting Flowers layering die set. So if you like die cut flowers, this set is for you. There's a bunch of different blooms and many different sizes that you can layer to create colorful stacked up layered blooms. I'm using the cherry blossom cardstock layering set. I'm going to create a pink bloom with 3 different shades of pink. So the smallest one's the lightest, then you got the medium, and then you got the darkest with the biggest bloom. And when you layer them, look at that. It's like magic. So I'm going to do a pink flower, kind of an orangey yellow flower with the summer afternoon cardstock set. And then I'll do a teal aqua flower with the seashore. And then, of course, some green leaves. I'm actually not even sure what I'm doing yet. I'm just die cutting a bunch of pieces. I'll figure out the composition later. Now for the background, I'm using the Stacked Diamonds cover die, which has a beautiful, intricate geometric design. I'm going to die cut it into some Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I used a metal shim to make sure to get a clean cut, and it cut it like butter. I'm going to adhere it to a white card base. So white on white, tone on tone, just a smidge of glue. Not too much or it'll ooze out the sides. You know what happens when it oozes out the sides? You got yourself a pair of chapped khakis. Yes, you do, because that just annoys me. Nothing like oozy glue. You know what I mean? It gets on your new grid mat, gets on your fingers. Forget about it. Now, dab of glue to stack up the blooms. If you wanna, you could use foam tape and make it dimensional. You know what I say? Dimension is life. But I have been known to cross the line. Not that there's a dimension police out there, but sometimes when your card gets so thick, it's like, Laura, calm down with the dimension. But like, I love it. I love the shadow. What I'm doing here is creating a composition. I don't really know. Just kind of getting the lay of the land. I'm tucking them, fiddling with them, shimmying them. You know, I'm not pressing down too hard in case I got to move it and change my mind, but I'm liking where it's going. And then once I get it how I want it, I press down. And then for the sentiment, I'm using that same Many Thanks stamp set. This time I'm going to emboss in white onto black. I like a white on black when you have a colorful card. And this sentiment says, I appreciate you. Sometimes you got to just send a card to someone to let them know that you appreciate them. You know what I mean? Okay, and then I'll heat that with the heat gun, trim it out into a sentiment strip, and then pop it right into the center of my blooms. Now I'm going to do the zhuzh, a little bit of zhuzhing, and then a couple of clear, what are those called? Clear drops in the centers of the flowers, couple along the sides, and this card is finished. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure and check out the rest of the Altenew blog hop. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.